first African-American fire chief for Atlanta, called me to his office one day. He said, I have a special assignment for you. And I want you to go down to the King Center and meet with Mr. Fred Bennett. And Fred Bennett introduced me to the leader, Reverend James Orange. And Reverend James Orange introduced me to Ms. Evelyn Lowery. And that was my journey started with the original Heritage Tour. And on that tour, one of the things, if you hadn't been with us, you meet so many interesting and strong pillars of the African American community. And so I want to drop a couple of names, okay? One is Miss Arthurine Lucy, okay? Arthurine Lucy in 1956 was the first African American female to integrate. Anybody know her? Alabama, University of Alabama. What she says from her mouth, Roll Tide meant a whole different thing when she was there in 1956. Another name, and these are people that we have met on the tour, Miss Colette Coben. You know who Miss Colette Coben is, right? She is the first lady that refused to give up her seat on the bus, okay? This was 9 months before Miss Rosa Parks, okay? So, there's a comedian that's going around saying that the reason Miss Coben wasn't selected because of the color of her skin. No, that's not true. Anyone knows that anything but Dr. King, his doctrine was always what? Nonviolence. Miss Coben told me, in another group personally, when that white man put his hands on me, and you can fill in the rest. I'm not talking about something somebody told me. This is what she said. This is what she said. Albert Turner. I didn't know Albert Turner. Going across the Avon Pettus Bridge, there was Jose Williams and there was John Lewis. But who was behind them? Albert Turner. Albert Turner said the reason, a lot of people cross the Avon Pettus Bridge, but they don't know why they crossed the Avon Pettus Bridge. The Alabama State Troopers, they were going to kill someone that night. They had already decided. They thought it was going to be Reverend James Orange because he was in the jail. But Albert Turner and them, they set up guards on that jail. So they went around to where this eatery was, and Jimmy Lee Jackson's grandfather was there, and they were attacking him. Jimmy Lee Jackson got in there, they took him outside, and they shot him 5 times. The reason Jimmy Lee Jackson died is when they took him to the hospital in Selma, they would not treat him. So they had to take him from Selma to Montgomery for him to get treatment. He died 5 days later of gangrene. Now, this is what Albert Turner was there. I'm talking about not what someone said. These are specific people that were there on that scene. And he said the reason that they marched is because they wanted to take a letter to the governor, but someone, and I think it was Miss Foster, said, let's walk. And that's where the walk across the Selma Avon Pettus Bridge, that's where it all began. Okay? And other people along the way, Fred Shuttleworth. While Dr. King was holding things down in Montgomery, Fred Shuttleworth was holding things down in Birmingham. Astronaut Mae Jameson, sweet person. John Lewis, Jose Williams, Allie Pat, Councilman Ivory Young, C.T. Vivian, your dad. Great, great, great people. Ruby D, Mary Lee Evers, but my favorite, Dr. Betty Shabazz. My partner, Sergeant Ellis Williams, one day he calls up and says, hey, we got to go pick up Dr. Shabazz. We get to the airport, and she's there. We pick her up, and we walk outside of the airport, and everybody with a camera is there trying to interview her and take pictures of her. We had no idea what was going on. It just so happened that her daughter was caught up in an alleged conspiracy to assassinate who? Farrakhan. We get there to the hotel and we sign her in anonymously And she starts making these calls. She called the White House. Ellis and I, we looking at each other and say, man, we might need to get out of here. And she said, no, sit down. Don't go anywhere. And she called the White House and she talked to, say, put me in touch with the Attorney General. What was her name? Janet Reno. And she sat there and she talked with Janet Reno and she discussed that incident. When she finished, this is what she told us. Out of her mouth. I have never discussed Mr. Louis Farrakhan with any of my kids in my house. So I know this is something that was set up. She said, I never felt that he was responsible. And my problem was he didn't do anything to stop it. That is from her mouth, quote unquote. So these are the people that we meet on this interesting tour. If you have not been on the Evelyn Gibson's Lowery original heritage tour, you miss out on so much. You all got to come ride this bus with us. Sure. But this award I want to accept, and I want to salute some of the members that have ridden with us in the past. And we're talking about Jim Lee Jackson. Well, we know his story. But then we got Jimmy Hodges that has rode with us for years and years. Walter Cleveland that has rode with us for years and years. Sheriff Big John from Niles County that was killed in the line of duty, but every time we got to Laola LaRusso's monument, he was there waiting on us. Of course, Miss Cleo and Jamada Orange. Jimmy Dito, good friend that we all miss, still so deeply, deeply miss them. And Sergeant Michael Goins from Selma, that when we get there, he always be sure that even when they want to block the bridge off, they don't stop Evelyn Lowery's tour from going across there. So all the teammates that has helped us, and we know we cannot do without you, when we make this tour, we just want to thank you again for keeping the dream alive of Miss Evelyn Gibson Lowery. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Oh, he's right there. Oh. You say that.
I have one last recipient. Before I